take a piece of that. This pad. Hello, everybody.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you, and welcome to this week's episode of Salam CafÄ, brought to you by Melbourne's Muslim community. I'd like to start off to my right-hand side and welcome this evening.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Thank you, salam rahmatullah. I like the pink scarf.
Do you?
Funky.
It's bright.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
It's funky.
Well, bright colours are the thing to do at the moment.
Yes.
I see your nice and
Funked up too myself.
And Susan, you are wearing green and brown, and
Yes.
my wife informs me that they are the in-fashion colours.
Well, you know me.
the trendsetter, Susan.
No, my mum actually bought me this outfit. So, no, I'm not trendy at all. It's quite a happy coincidence.
Fantastic. But you're fine? You're doing
Yeah,
well?
I'm doing well. I'm
Good on
okay.
you. How's Mum?
Yeah, she's good in New Zealand. She's,
Kiwi?
Yeah, Kiwi, yes. No emails about that.
Assalamu alaikum, Walid.
No, Sam, speaking of clothes, we've alluded to it very briefly that I know nothing about fashion.
Well, that's what Susan says.
Yeah, well, it's true. There's no question about that. So Susan took me shopping and she made me buy this. Now, quite frankly,
I
I'm not
noticed you
sold.
were looking a bit
that's-
groovy.
I'm not
think it's
sold on
pretty
this.
funky.
Can we get? I don't know if you
I
can
like
see.
that patchy, you know, the whole
So-
asymmetrical thing?
I don't know.
Is that a T-shirt on top of a jumper?
This thing, look
or
at,
it's
seriously,
actually...
can we get a good shot of this sleeve? Look at this. It's really weird.
Oh,
You've got.
tell him to get with it, please.
You've
I
got.
think that's a good jumper.
I don't know. I'm just not. What do you think?
She's sitting too close to me, so I better not say
It looks
anything.
like I'm wearing some weird sort of under thing. and
You're
then some
wearing
weird
it. You're
t-shirt.
wearing it, Wally. What's that saying?
Well, it tells you that
It's cool.
I'm obedient to my wife.
Speaking about being obedient to one's wife, Ahmed Hassan's how you doing, mate?
Now, we won't go there, but I've got some interesting slides that I've brought along just for this episode. Just about our time in Alice Springs. I was up there with the Flying Doctors as part of my job, and we found there was actually quite a lot of Islamic heritage and history in Australia in Alice Springs because of the camel drivers. They have the GAN train, which connects Adelaide to Alice Springs, and then the railway's just been extended to Darwin recently. And the Afghan cameleers who used to build that train track, and also before the train, they'd take goods between Adelaide
Well, they
and
basically
Alice.
opened up Australia with Breakin wheels and...
So when we were there, I
that's
took
what
these shots of all these street names. There's Bukhara Street, Saadadeen Street. There was a cameleer, one of the main ones, Charlie Saadadeen. There's a whole suburb named after him, Saadadeen, and there's like Saadadeen Primary School.
Oh my God.
And
But how come they call it Charlie Primary School?
or Chuck. Well, there's Muhammad Street, and the interesting is one of the descendants of those cameleers, Eric Sultan, he's decided to build a museum of Afghan history. So there's a cemetery there of all the cameleers, and he had this thing where he invited people to buy a palm tree and plant it around the perimeter of the cemetery. So I've got some pics of the kids. We did that, and we got 2 trees, and one day I'll go back up there and
check out the trees.
Fruit of your labour.
So you're saying that there are cemeteries, but the Afghan section they've done with palm trees to sort of signify that it's the Afghans. Is that
Yeah, so to just show the heritage and
great.
Burke and Wills. When they say Burke and Wills and camels, there were a couple of Afghans Muslims driving the camels. So they really, did. They were real pioneers in this country.
Quick question to Assad. You been to Alice Springs?
I've never been to Alice Springs.
Have you ever watched Salam CafÄ to go?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you better watch it now.
What are you doing on the show?
We need to go over to watch Salam CafÄ to go. I'm not too sure if it's going to be done on site at Alice Springs.
It has nothing to do with Alice Springs.
Has it? Well, I don't know. Let's have a
check
look
it out.
and see what comes up.
So when I said, you've got a piece of cheese on your face!
So what time's the lecture?
About now.
What's the time now?
20 past 3. 3 past 3.
20 past 3. Alright, sorry boys, I actually have to make this phone call. Right. Moment, thanks. I have to make a phone call. Okay. Yeah, I will be back soon. Okay. Whatever.
Asians. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
The guy's been disappearing same time every day to make the same damn phone call. 3:20 every time.
That's a bit peculiar, right? A bit weird every day.
So be alarmed and don't be afraid. Hey, I think let's just go investigate. Check this out. Let's go, guys. Come on, team. He's looking for something, guys. What are you looking for? Hey, what are you doing? What are you looking for, mate? Oh, he's put a curse on us, man. That's what he's doing. What the? Oh my God! What the hell? What? Man, get drunk. Get drunk. Man, you're drunk! God is drunk! I think he's having a heart attack. Does anyone, for the love of God, does anyone have a Band-Aid? Actually, I think he's just having an epileptic fit. Alright guys, come in. Come in, I know what's going on here. What? He's Muslim. I know what we should do. We should take him to the ASIO. They'll sort him out. They'll take care of him. Right, let's get him. Hey, I'm a Muslim, I've just been praying! Wait! What? Just been praying, man. What, is this what you do every day? Yes! 3:20? I just pray. So you haven't been making no phone calls? No! So you've been praying? Why do you hide from us, man? We understand. Alright, let's just leave him.
I like that.
That music rocked.
That was so funny. And how many times has that happened to you?
Yeah.
Well, I have a whole bunch of my friends come around and scream. Actually, no, that's never happened.
I like the commando guy rolling to come down and actually check him out. What's going on.
I'm very concerned about Nazim. I think he has way too much coffee before he does those things.
He gets really into it, doesn't he?
I've got to say, it was a pretty good effort not to be distracted.
Yes, mashallah.
Seriously?
And that was my cousin, can I say? So
Who's the one who was praying?
yes.
Wow, that was
There's a little bit of nepotism going on here.
I know.
You reckon? Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
That was
That was fantastic. And it's so true. Often someone will walk in and then you can't answer them because you're praying.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
You just maybe have a sign around you next time. Don't ask.
I actually, because my family's not Muslim, so what I used to do is because they'd walk in like, what's going on, I actually put a little sign on my door with a bigger outline of
Not
someone
around your neck?
bowing that would say Muslim at prayer in a little triangle, like man at work, and so my family knew. So that's something you could do.
Speaking about fantastic, after the break we have a fantastic guest,
Yes.
Moira Kelly. Looking forward to that immensely.
Very,
So we'll be
very
back after the break with Moira Kelly. Stick by, you're going to enjoy this one. Welcome back to Salam CafÃ. This evening we have Moira Kelly with us, the founder of the Children's First Foundation, who help sick children from throughout the world. Thanks for joining us, Moira.
It's my pleasure.
How do you start such a foundation?
Well, I suppose you just fall upon these things in life, I suppose. But I was living in Bosnia for a few years And I actually went for 6 months and stayed for 5 years during the war. And I had a few refugee camps when I was out there, and basically people kept coming to me with sick children.
Were you a nurse? Is that why they bring sick children? Or?
Well, no, I suppose one of the most profound moments was a woman from central Bosnia that came down, and she'd been walking for 3 days. And she had gone through a terrible ordeal where a village within a few minutes was basically a massacre, and the only people survived was her infant and her neighbour, and she lost everyone else. And she just asked me a profound question one day and asked could I help, and the first thing I said was I couldn't. You need someone more experienced and who does that sort of work. Maybe I was a bit naive, but I always thought to take one person from one country to another, you needed 3 qualities. Number 1 was I figured you need lots of money. Number 2, I figured you need someone with lots of experience. And of course, number 3, someone who was very special. And I certainly didn't fit into any of those categories. But I was just knocking on doors for so long and asking all the big NGOs that I knew, and just wasn't having any feedback. And maybe I was probably innocent ignorance, but she finally saw me on the third day with a big grin on her face and, Moira, what's happening? And I suppose I had to tell her, look, I'm not giving up, I'll always find that person. And I couldn't, and she finally said to me, well, Moira, after a big cry, and I cried, she says, Moira, where do you come from? Australia, and my father's Irish, and I went to school in Ireland as well. I said, well, Moira, can I ask you a question? I said, what's that? She said, what's Australian like and the people in Ireland? And I told her how lovely they are and we get on and we're peaceful. And she just went on to say, well, if the people are so good in your country, do you not think if you ask them and told about me, do you not think they want to help? And that's where it really began.
Wow.
It's as simple as that, isn't it?
That's amazing.
So she really pushed you along then?
Oh, yeah, I figure she was some sort of angel for sure. Yeah, she was. Well, I think any one of you would have done the same thing, and any of your listeners today would have been the same thing. It's just a normal human thing to do. And I suppose she gave you the courage, so I can't help but think lots of children after that have come from that. And I was a nobody, I don't know anything, there's no experience, but it just shows you we're all capable of anything, really,
That's amazing.
Well, it's just...
And the headquarters for Children's First is still at your farm at Kilmore?
Well, yeah, I always knew I'd come back to Australia one day, and I always knew I'd have a place either in the country or in the beach. Didn't have a cent, never would have any money, but eventually someone gave me the land, and about 2,000 Rotarians built the farm over 3 years as volunteers, and Australian companies and people helped get it going, and so no one gets paid, we're all volunteers, and that's just to show you that people who are lay people can also do this, I grew up as a Catholic, so I always thought nuns and priests did this. So this is to show people that, you can still be very religious and have a spirituality, but not necessarily be in an order.
That's amazing.
Can you tell us about these medical evacuations? Is that right? Yes, that's right.
Yes.
How do you go about doing that?
Well, I don't go looking for children, believe me, because after I lived in Bosnia for 5 years, I went on to Albania and ended up living there for 3 years. I lived in Eastern Europe probably about 10 years. I was a couple of years in Romania, but basically it happened in Romania where people started coming to me as well through the Sisters of Mother Teresa.
So you worked for Mother Teresa?
I did in India.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah,
what was that like?
Wonderful moments. But I only take kids who are operable, no medical conditions, and they have to be proven that they can't be operated in their own country. So probably half of the kids come from half of the children come from countries I've lived in, and probably a quarter of the children come through doctors in Australia who've heard about a child somewhere and say, could I help bring it in? And probably then actually a quarter of the children would come through the ethnic communities here in Victoria or in Australia who've seen a documentary or seen something in the papers or... So yes, the kids come from everywhere.
And we've actually got some living examples of your work right here tonight, haven't we?
I've got 2 friends with me behind the coffee machine here.
What coffee machine? The coffee just becomes less and less each
This is Bilal. This is Ahmed.
Nice to have you guys. That's awesome. Can you tell us a bit about how you got to know these guys and
well,
their story?
Ahmed's a long story. You'll have to read the book one day, but Ahmed's my little fella.
I actually saw a picture of Ahmed kicking a footy
in the Herald Sun.
I remember that about a year ago.
That with Kevin Sheedy.
So you're already famous before you came here.
Now I remember.
You're a superstar.
And Ahmed was on a Channel 7 documentary called Brother in Arms when he first had his operation and came out, and he's walking and running now. He's doing really well.
Yeah.
So Ahmed's from Iraq, but he's sort of working with the Australian government to try and keep Ahmed here. He has no family in Iraq. And so he's my whole life, and I like to think that I'm his as well.
Yeah. So he's like your son.
Oh, he is. Yeah, definitely. I need him as much as he needs me.
Where did you find him?
In Iraq. I went there during the sanction time. I travelled from Jordan by taxi.
Wow.
And met him with another little boy I've been told about when I was in Albania by a nun in Albania.
You've been on some adventures, I'm sure.
And then, of course, if you'd met those 2 boys, and I mean, the most beautiful thing about Ahmed was he turned around, because Manuel's another little boy from Iraq I have as well, and he had no hand and no leg as well, but he was younger, and Ahmed said to me, before I left, he said, Miss Kelly, he says, you're going to definitely come back for me. I said, I promise you I'll come back. And do you think the doctors will be able to help us? And I said, well, I can't promise you. I won't say anything until I had the 100%, but my tummy feels good about it. I got those lovely butterflies. And he said, well, Miss Kelly, it might be hard taking the two of us, but if you have problems, why don't you just come back and get a manual, because I'm bigger, and come back and get me another time.
You're a good guy. Absolutely a good guy.
That's just like
Good for you.
any human being would have gone.
Ahmed was born without forelimbs due to birth defects, probably from radiation.
We think so. We don't.
So what have they done with your legs now?
Well, he hasn't got a microphone, so that's...
Moira, you can speak first.
Well, yeah, he's basically had a double amputation, a bilateral amputation, because he had all callus in the legs were in like this. And he's been given 2 beautiful legs, and he's actually on his 3rd leg at the moment, so he's getting taller. All your trousers and all your shoes every time you're changing. And I don't do anything for his arms, because he does everything. He's got the most beautiful handwriting with his stumps. He puts kids in seatbelts. He does everything. Vacuums the house, still does the job like other kids.
Go boy.
Speaking of kids, you've got quite a few living at your place at the moment, haven't you? How many?
I think in Australia at the moment I have 16. And
Well, just sorry, in one house.
It's a big house.
Are you sure you're not Lebanese?
They're just as bad as the Lebanese. But Bilal's actually from Gaza.
Okay.
I hate not to get a plug in there, you see.
Yeah.
Bilal was, I won't go into how his injury happened, but he was very badly burnt as a young person in the problems in Gaza. And so he's come back for surgery at Lineker Hospital in Melbourne here. They've offered a free bed for Bilal. And he's going to have plastic surgery by Chris Coombs. It's quite famous here for doing all the hands and things like that, you know. So the doctors in the hospital are volunteers.
How long has he been here in
Bilal, I went out and got Bilal in Gaza. We came out about maybe 3 months ago now.
Oh, right.
And you're quite non-discriminatory in the way you take kids from any country, any faith, any background. It's
Absolutely,
whoever needs it, you go to.
I mean, we say prayer every night in our house because I believe we're all very spiritual. So 2 kids have to say prayer because they fight over who's going to say it that night. So every night we always hold hands, and the kids will say, "Bless us our Lord Allah." And now we have a Buddhist, so bless us our Lord Allah and Buddha. And this is very normal.
This is a very ecumenical house.
Very, very ecumenical. So we have to recognise them all. But it's just very funny. I'm worried another one comes in. They're going to know which one's the Buddha. They're all doing a good job, so don't worry. Just mention them on the
Well, I actually got a phone call last year from a friend saying that they're looking for a family who can speak Arabic because it was the first batch of the kids from Gaza, and they were staying in other houses, but there was a language problem. So I took one kid for a week, and it was fantastic. And I think it's good if all our viewers could, you know, just log on to Moira's site. The details will be on the website, Salam CafÃ website, and if you want to help donations, what do you need from our viewers?
What do you want?
The biggest thing is, though people love our work and they love my kids and they think it's wonderful, but unfortunately because my kids own the wrong passport, people don't support it. You've got to sort of fight that obstacle. So really, my dream is in Australia is to get 20 companies, I'm up to 9, or families who will donate 1 operation a year. And because all the private hospitals are for nothing. So I get that for nothing, but children do need to go to Children's Hospital where they need an ICU, and the average operation for a heart is $20,000 to $25,000, but they get 50% back on their tax, and the Children's Hospital have that agreement with me. So my dream is once I get the next 11, I don't want any more because I'll never have any more than 10 kids going to Children's. I wouldn't want that. I'd say that's it. Because, I mean, I couldn't cope either. Because all the private hospitals in Melbourne's, Cabrini's, Epworth's, all of them, St. B's, they all give me free beds. And St. John of God of Lineker in Geelong have just also offered me a free bed there. They give me 4 a year.
Well, let's see if Salam CafÄ viewers can drum up enough to sponsor 1 operation. That'd be awesome.
I also understand, Moira, that the Muslim community has helped you do some fundraising.
I've just now started going into the Islamic schools.
Right.
And I've put an appeal in for the Somalian children at the moment because they were very small and poor community to try and help with those children because so many people have come on board with the Arabic-speaking kids, but I've also got to think of all my kids in that region, and Melbourne's not very wealthy, that area, so I really just love people. If we can even get someone out there who'd say they do an operation once a year, that would be my dream. My dream would be an extra one I had. That's all I want.
And these are not just any operation, these are like major life-changing, like kids who can't swallow, kids who've lost limbs, big injuries.
And hearts.
And so we had a fundraiser
with the Muslim community,
the Muslim women, they've been very supportive, and they're the ones who've instigated the schools, so that's happening in the Islamic schools here in Victoria.
Well, I encourage everybody to actually, get behind the Children's First Foundation, information on the website. Thank you very much for coming.
You are amazing.
Not really.
We can talk to you all night. All right.
And we'll be back after the break. Thank you very much.
God bless, thank you.
She was fantastic, Moira Kelly, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She
amazing.
rocked.
I had to
Honoured to have her.
Oh, it's
We're
great.
having a good run at the moment.
We've got good guests. We're a great show.
High calibre, as you'd
That's
say,
my character
isn't it?
over there.
As high calibre as show warrants.
I do have to mention that coming up on September 18th, there is actually a fundraiser for the Islamic Community Auxiliary of the Royal Children's Hospital. So
That's a mouthful.
exactly, I'm surprised I got it out. And I'm going to try to get them to actually link in with Moira.
Because she was doing some stuff with the Royal Children, wasn't
Definitely. So the kids, a lot of them with the Royal Children's, a couple of other hospitals, which is fantastic. So the Muslim community has raised about in excess of $300,000 in the last few years for RCH, which is great. So we need to continue on in that vein.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
yep, we'll keep going. Now, Assad.
Yep.
Who will we be meeting this week?
Well, it's a surprise. I'm just going to go head upstairs and we're going to go meet some of our fabulous Salam CafÄ crew.
Go for
So I'll
it.
see you in a
Go
minute.
then. Get up there.
Bye.
Run.
Okay, we're upstairs in the engine room of Salam CafÄ here to meet one of our crew. Come around this way. In front of all these TVs hard at work. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. How's it going?
Good. Introduce yourself to our viewers.
I'm Hannah Hagos. The liaison officer at Salam CafÄ. As well, I'm the direct assistant.
Assistant Director and Liaison Officer.
Yes.
Very important.
I think so.
Who's your favourite panel member? And be honest.
Okay, I'll try to be honest. I think Susan is my favorite.
Does Nazim really look like a rodent?
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Do you think the guy making the coffee is a central character on the show?
Yes, he is.
That's the reason why we have 14,000 viewers.
Absolutely. Agree with you on that.
What does the guest liaison officer do?
We basically make the guest happy, and he enjoys his time while he's here with us. So having a bit of coffee as well.
Do you have an expense account?
No, I don't at the moment.
Tell me the truth, go on.
Maybe around 15,000.
What do you do when you're not on Salam CafÄ?
I'm a nursing student.
Is that why you're the guest liaison officer?
Yes, I am. That's why people who are here take care of you whenever you're on the show.
Hannah Hagos, our Assistant Director and Guest Liaison Officer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Assad.
Yep. Email of the week.
Wait, that's what you're going to say? No comment.
No welcome
What
back.
can I say after Assad's effort? Come on,
Yeah, no, it's
seriously.
good. The crew,
It's all downhill from
thumbs
here.
up to the crew doing fantastic work.
Hannah's fantastic. She
Right.
works really hard.
So anyway, on to everyone's favourite segment, certainly mine, the email of the week. Now, you may recall that the email question that we wanted you to send in to us was, what is one of the most interesting places you've prayed, no matter what your religious background or affiliation? And I've got to tell you, we've had a huge number of emails. It's been phenomenal.
I read some. I thought they were fantastic.
Yeah, there were some
I thought
good
they
ones.
were really good. You know,
Yeah,
the
it
type of
was-
stuff we're getting.
Sorry, I've got to disagree.
That's unlike you, Willie. Out of character again.
I tell you what, no, look, yeah, we got a fair few emails, but frankly, I found them disappointing. So what I think we should do is, I haven't seen a worthy winner yet. Have you?
Have you read the emails?
I've been reading like there's no tomorrow. I've just changed myself through the computer.
And just
I've been
refresh.
And, no, I don't know. Would you disagree?
Well, I mean, there's some interesting ones, but
That's it on the fence.
yeah, all right. Well, I don't want
Okay,
these guys
we're
to have
admitting
a
we
hissy
have
fit
high
all night. So, okay, I think you need 2 more weeks. So let's just forget those winners. 2 more weeks. I want you to churn out some crackerjack emails of the most interesting places you've prayed. I really want you to just, turn it up a notch. Keep these guys quiet. If nothing else, keep Waleed off my back.
Your
Like
cousin,
Salam
your
CafÄ to
cousin
go.
from Salam CafÄ to go should write in.
Yes. Okay. I'll get it.
Yeah, he's got
Every one of you,
He's
yeah.
got a good story.
Everyone that's watching, you get your cousins to write in.
He wrote that, he'd win, I reckon.
Okay.
Nepotism.
Speaking of interesting places, I forgot to mention this before, but I went to a dinner that was organised by the Women's Network of ICV.
Oh, the Moira Kelly one.
Yes, fundraising for Moira's Children First Foundation. It was really fun.
Was it? Yeah, it was a big
excellent.
success. I know. So everyone get behind it. Her details about her place are on our website, salamcafä.com.au, so check that out.
Yes,
We have to go. Another great week. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to the crew. Thanks to the cast, and we'll see you next week. Salam alaikum.
See you next week.
I've been told I'm not animated enough when we go.
Oh, okay.